Hello everybody, I am Fuzzy Face. Welcome back to another round of this Motorsport Manager career. We're back with the 14th race of the season. We've got the Phoenix Grand Prix coming up. We're heading to America, possibly the title decider this time around, because we are doing absolutely outstanding. We've picked up 305 points so far this season. We have a healthy gap over Ferrari of 103 points. There are 3 races to go. If we keep this gap, we will have won the Constructors' title after this race. We need an 86 point gap after this race, so if we can go ahead and do that, we will have won the Constructors. Vettel is looking likely that he's going to win the Drivers' Championship as well. He's got 3 wins this season. Fernando Alonso in the Red Bull is 34 points behind him. Could be mathematically done this race with a 50 point gap, but obviously that would possibly need Alonso to massively slip up. But if we can get a good result with Vettel and with ourselves, we've got potential of confirming both championships after this race, which does seem a little bit too early in this game, but we've just had a really good development path this season. We've managed to get on to building our first new parts, and luckily our first part of each part we've built have been quite a big jump and increase. Just the development gods were on our side, and a couple of the other teams are a bit slow, like Mercedes and Ferrari. Their development hasn't been the best this season. Aston Martin have been dreadful with their development. But anyway, we'll get into Fuzzy's notebook. And the biggest change heading into this race is Ferrari have gone ahead and built their 4th engine this year. They've got a brand spanking new engine going into that car. It moves them up to 3rd. It's still way behind that ultra powered. It's just amazing that Renault engine is, I think. With this upgrade though, they're possibly not that far ahead with the engine, but Renault, it was a massive upgrade that they put into their car, which filtered down to Haas as the customer team. But anyway, Ferrari have got their new engine. It's pretty close to the Red Bull engine. As you can see, Red Bull sit in the position between Ferrari and then the customer teams of Alfa Romeo and Prema, and then we have the AlphaTauri Honda just behind them. Then we have Mercedes lagging behind with the engine, and then of course our engine is absolutely dreadful at the moment, but we are getting into building this new engine. It is 32 days away, which will be done just in time for the German Grand Prix. It's not going to go into the car this year though, because theoretically that is next year's starting engine. In terms of other upgrades, we've got Prema with the new engine. Obviously, Alfa Romeo have got the engine from Ferrari as well. Red Bull have got a new braking system, puts them up into 2nd. Ferrari also had new brakes to go along with their engine, puts them top in that regard. McLaren managed to get 2 upgrades done, a front wing and a rear wing, puts them at the top in terms of that rear wing. Aston Martin, meanwhile, have managed to get a front wing done, which puts them right up there as well. Renault got brakes and front wing done as well, somehow. Quite a big upgrade for them. But still middle of the pack in both of those parts, and all the way down in 8th still, even with that new braking system. Haas have got a new gearbox, only 10th for them as well. They're just miles behind, and then Prema got the new engine. And we put our new braking system in as well, puts us 4th. So as we move on to the best car on the grid, it is Ferrari, McLaren, then Red Bull, and then we've got ourselves. Renault are moving back up. Mercedes have actually slipped because they didn't do an upgrade. I'm wondering whether they're trying to go for another new engine again before the end of the season, just because they're slipping so far behind in terms of engine development. But anyway, that is shocking to see them going from 1st to 7th. It just shows how close these cars are together this season. If you miss a development round, if you don't develop anything, you've got the potential of just slipping right back. But obviously Phoenix is engine, suspension and rear wing. Obviously suspension, rear wing were not too bad. The engine, we know, is miles behind. Renault are up there. I mean, this could be anyone's race because everyone's just sort of all over the place with those 3 parts. So yeah, we're going to be all over the place. I don't think there's any mail that came through that we need to go through. No, we don't. I think everyone have done the pit crew as well. Just make sure everyone's pretty much nice and fresh. We did have the vote on the rolling start. It did get rejected, thankfully. It would have actually been accepted if I didn't use all my votes in trying to reject it, because it was pretty close. I think it was within 2 votes. If I didn't use all my votes, that would have gone through and we would have been having rolling starts next season. I mean, I wouldn't have wanted that at all. But anyway, we're going to get into practice now. We're going to take our usual complement of tyres. For the last 2 races, I think we've had quite a lot of rain. This time There's not gonna be any rain, but obviously Phoenix is a track we might struggle at because we've got like half an oval. I mean, it's not even half an oval; it's almost 3/4 of the oval, isn't it? On this track, so it is going to be quite interesting to see how quick we are, or if we're not quick because of the engine the way it is. But anyway, we're going to get into practice, and we'll be back in a second to go through qualifying. So practice is over. We look pretty good in practice. Vettel was third fastest. In front of him was Daniel Ricciardo and Yuri Vips in the Red Bull. Looking pretty good for qualifying here. We're pretty much there with the setup, so we're just going to jump straight into this. It doesn't look like there's going to be any rain forecast here, but we're going to get stuck. There's a car just coming past him. We're just going to try and get out if we can in front of this car or just behind it. I think that's a Haas running out there, one of the Renault powered Haases, and then we're just going to get Vettel out just after that as well. So hopefully we're going to be quite quick here. In practice, it seems like the strength of the rear wing and the suspension negated the lack of power in this car. I mean, we're pretty quick through this part of the track, but it's just this part of the track whether you never know though if we just start functioning right. We seem to have been pretty quick in the races pretty recently, but Gasly is off the pace. We've got Nico Hulkenberg currently sat in first place. Leclerc not much further behind, the two Renaults there. Vips is pretty slow as well over the first lap. We've got the two McLarens looking like they could be eliminated here. But anyway, we'll just wait. We'll get out just after 4 minutes to go like we usually do. The Mercedes are running early because they're in the bottom half in terms of performance, of overall performance of their car. So they are running not at the end of the session like they usually would, which is interesting to see. And that means not the Williams has gone out as well, even though they're 6th best overall. I'm wondering if it's just the top 5 cars that go out later in the session. Obviously we are included in the top 5 cars at the moment. The two Mercedes looking pretty quick after the first qualifying lap. Gasly does need to improve here. Is he going to improve enough? He does go 14th. He does just sneak through into Q2. It might not though, because Hamilton is going quicker here. It looks like Vettel is going to get through, but he's slower on this lap. Is Hamilton going to go any quicker? We're going to get knocked out here with Gasly, aren't we? Hamilton does go up to 6th, so Gasly is starting so far down the order here. Gasly just doesn't have the pace this weekend. Oh, he's only 3/10 off his teammate, but this Phoenix track is so quick. It's under a second to all the way at the back of the grid here. Perez is quickest after Q1, but we're going to get into Q2 here. There's no big scouts here other than a McLaren and ourselves. Yeah, there's no one really jumping out there. Possibly you should see the McLaren's doing a lot better because their car it's been rated like the 2nd best overall. He just can't really seem to put it together in qualifying. I don't think they've had that many decent races this season. We can't actually see the points from this point forward, but got this tyre that. Are we going to have enough super softs for the race? I'm hoping. I don't think we're going to be able to do just one run in these qualifying sessions. We might have to rethink about what we're going to do in the next races, because if we're running twice in every session now, trying to get through each one, we don't quite have the tyres to do it, do we? Maybe bring 9 tyres in future to qualifying, because Vettel is looking pretty slow here. Charles Leclerc is quickest. Hulkenberg, Williams is looking pretty mighty around this track. Obviously Latifi, I think he's starting from the back row of the grid or the 11th row of the grid, one of those two, but Vettel is looking pretty slow here. It's between Charles Leclerc and Daniel Ricciardo at the moment for pole position. We've got cars out on track. The Haas with that Renault power is looking pretty quick as well. 2 cars in the top 10. Obviously the last race, if you remember, they started from the 2nd row of the grid. Didn't have the best of races. Renault started from the front row of the grid. They themselves again didn't have the best of races, but we're going to get Vettel out here on track. I'm thinking maybe in Q3 we're going to have to do the first run on maybe a youth set of super softs. But anyway, we're not even going to get through, are we? We're not getting through unless Vettel can absolutely kill it over this last sector. We're nowhere near. It's 3/10 down. Oh, he just climbs up. And we are going to sneak through here because there's only Alonso at the moment on a quicker lap. Alonso does jump up the order into 8th. So we finished 10th. We only just managed to sneak through there in front of a McLaren and a Haas. And luckily Max Verstappen slow on his laps. And Max Verstappen is eliminated here in Q2. Hamilton, Leclerc, the two quickest cars. Renault's looking quick here as well. Red Bull looking pretty handy. And as we thought, with the lack of engine power here, we are looking pretty slow unless Vettel can pull out an amazing lap here. And what we're going to want to do, maybe, because I do want 2 sets of super softs left for the race, we're going to run on an old pair this first lap here. I'm guessing it's just a trick. That one looks a little bit less done. I don't think it is, but we'll run with that one. We're going to get out and early. We're just going to run a lap just to get our bearings once again in qualifying. This is not going to be indicative of where we're going to be because we're on a used pair of super softs. And we're going to be a lot slower here because this tyre is 67%. Well, that's 33% worn. So we're already 4 tenths down as we're going to be at the back of the order here. So Renault's looking quick. The Ferrari of Hamilton goes quicker. Hulkenberg up there as well. Are we going to see a Williams on pole here? That would be outstanding. Hulkenberg didn't have the best of times last year in the Ferrari seat behind Leclerc. I mean, he's had a few decent qualifying sessions of races here for Williams. I mean, that Williams team is looking pretty good as this season goes on. They've just followed a really good development path this year and been able to get themselves back up there. Hulkenberg and Latifi in that car. I mean, Latifi's not getting as much out of that car, obviously, as Hulkenberg is at the moment, but you never know. Could Williams be looking for another new driver next year? There is rumours about them going for a new engine supplier as well, that they might be on the outs with Mercedes. Just a little hint about what might be going into next season. But obviously, no, we're actually slower on a fresh tyre here. We're actually slower on a fresh tyre, so it looks like we're going to be 10th. Are we going to pick up in the middle sector? We do, which is where this car is its strongest. But coming down this point, we're not that far behind. Vettel jumps up into second. A really good second and third sector after being slower in the first 2 sectors. But that is amazing. We should be nowhere near this level, and it is going to be Ricciardo and Leclerc starting from the front row of the grid. We've got Williams alongside us. The 2 Red Bulls are there or thereabouts. Perez pretty quick as well. And Russell will be starting from the 5th row of the grid alongside Yuri Vips. We've got a Haas up there as well. Newgarden doing pretty well as well. So, that is not too bad. We actually picked up 4 tenths from Q2, which is amazing. Well done, Vettel. Pulls it out of the bag right at the end there. And that seemingly worked for us running on the used pair. We should have the tyres that we want, because I think this is going to be a 2-stop race for us, because it is 32 laps. It is just doable from that to that, but look at that, 31 degrees. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a 2-stop race from the supers to the softs back to the supers. I think is the best course of action here for both cars. So they're both going to be starting on the super soft tyre. We don't want to push too much, so maybe we'll just push the fuel. No, we'll push for like the first lap, but then we've got to be really careful with the tyres after that. But anyway, let's go down the grid for the 2022 American Grand Prix. Daniel Ricciardo, Charles Leclerc on the front row of the grid. Vettel, Hulkenberg and Williams, absolutely amazing on the second row. Just pure pace and nothing to do with the weather. Fernando Alonso is 5th, starting on a soft tyre. Is he the only one that's going for something different? No, Hulkenberg is on a soft tyre here to start from. Sergio Perez, they might try 1 stop on 2 pairs of soft tyres. So that is something to look out for here. Sergio Perez is 6th with the Renault team. Hamilton 7th. Newgarden up there 8th place in a Haas. Vips in the Red Bull is 9th, starting on a used pair of super softs. So Red Bull not doing him any favours. Bit of a strange one. 10th is George Russell starting on. Carlos Sainz outside the top 10 starting on a used pair of super softs from 11th. Kevin Magnussen in 12th will start on the soft. Valtteri Bottas starting on the mediums from 13th. 14th is Verstappen on a used pair of mediums. What are you doing? Mick Schumacher 15th, Schwartzman 16th, Giovinazzi 17th, followed by Pierre Gasly all the way down in 18th place, way off the pace this weekend. Pierre Gasly, and that is because you ate all the recipes. You ate all the food from your new cookbook, haven't you? That is why you're so far down. Esteban Ocon on a used pair of super softs as well. Lando Norris will go from 20th. Sonoda from 21st. Albon from 22nd. And then on the back row of the grid, we've got Latifi. Nowhere near the pace of his teammate. And Lance Stroll will bring up the rear of the grid. I just wanted to see, what has Lance Stroll done this season? 17th in that Aston Martin. And where is Esteban Ocon here? Is he not even there? Esteban Ocon is in the bottom 4, and we can't even look at Esteban Ocon's points. So Lance Stroll, even though he's not doing too well, he's still outperforming Esteban Ocon here. But anyway, we're going to get into this Grand Prix. Hopefully we can have a decent start here. Leclerc's just absolutely flying away from Daniel Ricciardo. There gets a launch pretty well. These Ferraris with that new engine pretty quick. Hamilton gets alongside. We go 3 wide with Ricciardo. Looks like Hamilton's going to sneak through. We have the inside line. Are we going to get a better launch out of the corner? Obviously, this is the part of the track we know where they're best at. But that Ferrari is just up and away, and we're just going to settle down for a little bit now. We don't want to push these tyres too much. Gasly has had an outstanding start, has got himself up for all the way from 18th. He's currently 9th. He's running alongside Sergio Perez, that Renault power. So he has to take a different line because we come up behind Fernando Alonso. Gasly gets himself up into 6th place now, and we're just going to dial back with Gasly. That is absolutely outstanding from Pierre Gasly. Vettel retains 3rd place. Ricciardo has dropped down to 4th. We've got the 2 Ferraris leading the way here in America. So 4th place as we come around on to the 3/4 oval that we've got around this track. And we're on lap 3, 30 laps remaining. Pierre Gasly is in a really good position here. George Russell in front of him. And we just need to look after this tyre because it is so hot here in America. Is anyone else trying to cool down? No, everyone is just running medium at the moment. Just waiting for... Just waiting for what? What are we waiting for? We're waiting for the AI, as usual, to overheat their tyres. Because look, we're getting right onto the back of Lewis Hamilton here. I'm guessing he's still pushing the fuel. So I'm guessing Lewis Hamilton is catchable for us here. I don't know what the pit lane is here because it is a really long pit lane on the quickest part of the track. Well, obviously not the quickest part, because he's possibly going quick around here because he just launched out of the corner here. But it is a really long pit lane. The pit lane speeds are increased this year, as we've gone over before, as we come under pressure from Daniel Ricciardo. So it is a 32 lap race. We don't really have to look after the tyres too much, but I don't really want to go through them too quickly and come out into traffic. That would be a massive problem, obviously. Although we are on the oval, it should be easy to get past the slower cars that are on used tyres. We should be able to fly past them. But anyway, we're just holding position nicely here. We're waiting just to see how these tyres go. Both drivers are doing about the same on them. And we've used a lot of fuel so far, so we're going to have to try and recover that at some point. Should we get back into medium? Because it looks like most of the cars are doing that. Gasly is now running a little hot. And Sergio Perez has managed to get past him here. Don't really want to go back at that, or should we try go back at that and use Gasly as our experiment here for how long this pit lane is going to take? So obviously I don't know how long it's going to take to do a pit stop with the new pit lane speed rules, but if we get pushing, we might be able to move up the order, get enough of a gap to get through here. We're running a little bit hot with Vettel. We've got Daniel Ricciardo coming to the pits, so Ricciardo is going to be the first one. And we're running a little bit too hot on these tyres. I don't want these to go off, so we're going to get Gasly into the pits as well. And if we see Leclerc is going to stay out, so we just need to make a note of where we are behind Leclerc when we come into the pits. We're going to be about 10 seconds behind. And then when we come out, we're going to get a good idea of what a pit stop would take. So out of the pits, almost colliding with a Williams there, hitting Latifi on the way out. So we are 25 seconds behind, so about 15 seconds through the pit lane here. And we're just going to watch and look after here. So 15 seconds. Yeah, Vettel's going to be coming out into a lot of traffic here. So we are just going to try stay out for a few more laps. We don't want to get caught in traffic too early. Although, just slowing down, that's going to cost us maybe more than we're going to get caught in traffic for. So what we do is we want one push lap into the pits. We're going to cool down. And then we should have just enough in this tyre to do one massive push lap around this circuit. We're going to go for the super softs again at this point, and then we'll finish on the soft tyre. What did we get out of the super soft? 11 laps, which is what we need to aim for Gasly. We can get him off this super soft at any time, so maybe we can go ahead and get him pushing at some point. But Vettel is going to get off these tyres. And if we can just get out into this nice little gap, because there's a nice little gap that's just formed here between Schwartzman and Norris. If we can get into that gap now, as Leclerc is in the pits as well, if we can get into that little gap that we saw. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to do it though. And Vettel is going to be under pressure. It looks like Gasly's got the jump. Oh, we nearly collide with Hulkenberg that time. That is a Williams again that we almost collide with. Hulkenberg has slipped down the order starting on that super soft. We're just going to use this to get past a few cars. We might as well push all out with Sebastian Vettel in this part of the race. We don't really have to look after the tyres. Hamilton is into the pit stop as well. So it looks like the undercut, even in traffic, was pretty effective there, because Gasly did end up pretty close to Vettel by the end of that pit stop. So what do we need to do at the moment? Gasly does have about 11 laps left in this, 19 to go. We do need this tyre to last a little bit longer just yet, and we're overheating with Vettel. Vettel 11 seconds quicker than his last lap. Obviously that was a lap with the pit stop in, and we're just going to cool down for a little lap, try to get out of the red zone, because we're just currently following Lando Norris here. Norris in that McLaren, running up there in a medium at the moment, and we'll see if we can get him down the straight, try and get the McLaren out of the way if we can do that. No, we didn't. We'll just keep it. We need to clear this McLaren at some point. Takes us almost a lap to do it, and then we will try to cool down pretty rapidly. We've got some fuel recovery to do here. Gasly is going through his tyres now. He's going to have to start looking after these and maybe go in low mode as well. It looks like we've got the pace on the Renault of Daniel Ricciardo, who is on the medium tyres here. So hopefully we're just going to see everyone do a nice standard 2-stop. We might be seeing Norris might even go for a 1-stop. He's got a couple more laps in that medium tyre. We've seen that the McLarens do like to go right to the limit, and they don't mind doing half a lap on used tyres. Tyres that have gone over the cliff. I mean, Norris is pretty quick here over his last lap though. These mediums can go a lot more before they drop off. We'll just keep a check, and Norris has gone for the softs, so he is going to be able to finish this race from there. We should be a lot quicker on these super softs. We are now cooled down. We're just in fuel recovery mode with both of our cars as well. At the moment we've got quite a lot of fuel to recover. Gasly will be there with about 1 or 2 laps to go. It should take a Vettel about 6 laps to do the fuel recovery that he needs to do at the moment as well. Meanwhile, we are being chased down by George Russell, who's on a fresher pair of rubber. Whether it is going to be 3 seconds quicker over the next few laps. He was 7/10 quicker on the last lap, but though obviously we were in backup mode for that lap. But it's just the 2 Ferraris just leading the way. Where were Ferrari earlier on in the season? Why couldn't they be doing this and keep a better challenge to us? But as it is, we should have the gap that we need. Yeah, we do. What is that, 85? Just about is the gap at the moment, although it's Red Bull that we need the gap over, isn't it? Red Bull are down here, so yeah, we should have that gap over Red Bull. But no, Ferrari have moved into 2nd place, haven't they? Was it Red Bull that were up there? No, it was Ferrari, wasn't it? It's the Drivers' Championship. Is it Fernando Alonso? Yeah, Alonso's dropping back now, and Leclerc is picking up points. Getting a little bit confused there with what's going on, but anyway, we're going to need to start thinking about getting Vettel in. So he's going to do his push lap into the pits. He's going to have to go for the soft because we need to use 2 compounds during the race. Could go that one if we weren't cheating, but that would go off before the end of the race. A medium would easily see us through, but this soft should see us through to the end of the race. We're going to get into the pits. This soft tyre is nearly overheating. We might as well get Gasly in at the same point and get him off these softs now and get him onto a pair of super softs. Gasly is going to be quick over this last section of the race. Not that far to go in this Grand Prix now, and Vettel is coming into the pit. We should have no problems double stacking because Vettel is going to be in and gone within a couple of seconds hopefully. Yes, he is, and now Gasly is in as well. He's completed and out of the pits. A little mistake, 2.5 seconds almost on the tyre, but we do get out in front of the traffic coming from behind. We still have to recover this fuel though. We have to be careful about that. And we've got Vettel pushing through the field here. It looks like Norris is going for that 1-stop strategy. They are on the same compound tyres. Vettel is a little bit fresher, so we do need to clear this McLaren. Alonso might be 1-stopping here. We should be much quicker than him on that used medium tyre as well. So see if we can clear him here on the part oval. Trying to go for the outside line, gets the inside line on the exit of the chicane, and Vettel is now through and up back into third place behind the two Ferraris that do have to stop again. So yes, third and seventh, Gasly is now just in a world of his own. We don't want him to just absolutely destroy this tyre, so we'll just cool him down for a little bit, and we'll stick with Vettel. Both Ferraris are in and out of the pits, are they? And Hamilton's pretty close to his teammate, and Ferrari have put Leclerc on a soft and Hamilton on a super soft. So Hamilton should be much quicker than Leclerc, but I'm guessing Ferrari have gone for the super soft just to keep him away from us, because we got pretty close then. We've actually pulled that gap. If you remember, before the first pit stop, Vettel was 10 seconds behind the lead. Over the course of this, he's managed to pull that all the way back, but the Ferraris are going to be much quicker than us now at this stage in the race, and we're going to have to start cooling down because we're running too hot at the moment. And Gasly is just there in 6th place. Did Alonso pit again? Yeah, Alonso has pitted again. Norris is running a really good one-stop strategy here. It would seem like he's going to be able to get that through to the end. Russell is right on the back of him. We shouldn't be under too much pressure from Lando Norris, but obviously we're just looking after this tyre as well. We've got this tyre to look after, but we might as well just switch back up now. So it looks like the two Ferraris are just going to charge off into the distance here. We're going to pick up a third, hopefully, and hopefully a 6th place. Daniel Ricciardo is behind us. On a medium tyre, he should be a lot slower than us. And we're just nicely cooled down with Pierre Gasly here. There's no point pushing too much to try and catch the Mercedes in front of us. It's not really doable. We just want to hold on to 6th place here. And it looks like Hamilton's not going much quicker than Charles Leclerc on that super soft. I'm guessing it's because that super soft just overheats so quickly in this climate with the temperature so high that he's having to aggressively look after that tyre. I mean, both cars out front are just aggressively looking after that tyre as well. Whereas now I think we can get to pushing. We might as well push for a little bit. 60% left in this tyre. I know it is overheated. And we might as well do the same with Gasly, see what we can pick up here. It is only 4 seconds in front to Lando Norris on that used pair of soft tyres. Maybe we can be quick enough to catch Norris here, because he's gone a long way trying to do a one-stop here. There's not many others doing it. Schumacher's doing it in a Prema. He's managed to get himself up into the points, and now the tyre temperatures are super high. We've only got a couple of laps to go. We're within a second now of Lando Norris in front. Are we going to be able to push this? We do need to look after the fuel though. We can't push the fuel too much. We're not getting close, anywhere close with Vettel, so we're just turning him down to avoid any mistakes here. But can we go ahead and get Lando Norris here? We're going into the final lap. If we go high mode here, just try and get him round this oval, and then we can switch back down. Yes, we do. We get up into 5th place there, and we shouldn't lose this place now to Lando Norris. We'll just switch back down. Unless Norris is coming back. No, we've got to attack because these tyres are not going to go off before the end of the race. Vettel has quite a lot of the tyre left, so Vettel will finish the race in 3rd. Leclerc and Hamilton win the race. Russell is 4th. Gasly managed to get himself up into 5th place all the way from 18th on the grid. An outstanding race. Norris is 6th, Ricciardo 7th, Alonso 8th, Schumacher 9th in a Prema, and then we've got Carlos Sainz in 10th in a McLaren. And outside the top 10 we've got Verstappen in a Mercedes, we've got a Renault, we've got Vips in the Red Bull. All the way at the back we've got the two Aston Martins. Hulkenberg, after his really good qualifying session, is out of it. 17th place for him. Williams not able to put it together in the race here, but a 1-2 for Ferrari. I don't think it's going to have stopped us winning the Constructors' Championship, because we did have Gasly climb up. That should have given us enough points to confirm the Constructors' Championship. But Vettel is still there. He's not mathematically won. He's 32 points in front, but that can be done if Leclerc keeps going over these last 2 races here. It is still all to play for. Gasly still in with a shout if he can outperform Vettel as well, but he's a little bit too far behind. And Ferrari, as I thought, they clawed that gap back, but not. Yeah, that is enough, isn't it? 86 points, so we haven't actually mathematically won the Constructors' Championship. That is just 1 point. 1 point. Or 2. That would need to say minus 87 for us to have won the Constructors' Championship, because there's 43 points available for the team that finishes 1st and 2nd. Obviously there's no quickest bonus. No bonus for the quickest lap. But yeah, so we cannot celebrate just yet. But unless we have a absolutely dreadful race next time out, we are going to have the title won. I mean, Gasly has slipped because he's got that cutback out, but he's still improving as a driver overall. We came second for the weekend. We still got a lot of money coming out of the bank account. And yeah, we won't look at the other Formula results, and we'll just go through the interview. I'll just say with that one because it doesn't really upset anyone. It upsets Gasly a little bit, but we're not going to try sign Leclerc, obviously, but we'll keep him amicable. For the car, so we got Doha coming up in 17 days. 17 days is enough time for maybe some upgrades from the AI teams. Hopefully they're going to improve as well heading into the next race. But we might be able to confirm the Constructors' Championship. It didn't happen for us this weekend. But hopefully on the next race weekend we can go ahead and do that. But until that point, that is it for this episode. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.